volume.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into Live Above the Chai, the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors and our friends at Pixel Fire Marketing. Jimmie Allen, Alex Drake with you here at halftime of UNLV, or Creighton hosting UNLV. Excuse me. The Jays lead right now, 39-27. The story of the day, Alex. No Pop Isaacs, not today, not for the rest of the year. He's out with that same hip injury that was nagging him at Texas Tech, and now it's cost him his second season at Creighton.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously just really unfortunate for the Jays. Huge scoring punch. He had scored 25 in 3 out of the last 5 games, and he had been playing pretty darn phenomenal. That being said, the offense looks different today in a lot of different ways. Not better, not worse, just different. There's a lot less dribble drive. The ball's moving a lot quicker, and a couple of bench players have stepped up huge in Isaac Trout and Jason Green both. Isaac Trout started the game 3 for 3 from 3, channeling his Inaragi, and Jason Green had a quick 5 off the bench at one point. Defensively, things are a little bit tougher, and obviously when your other top perimeter player goes down, teams are going to focus on who's left. Stephen Ashworth had a rough first half, going 1 of 5 from 3.
Yeah, the starting 5 today: Jackson McAndrews, Mason Miller, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Jimmie Neal, Stephen Ashworth. Obviously, Mason Miller getting the start today. That is the difference in the starting 5. And I'm with you. I think it's looked a little bit different from a sense of the offense looks a little more simplified. It's not necessarily trying to dribble drive as much and kick it out like you alluded to, but it's also they're passing a little bit less and they're hunting shots a little bit more. I think that's something you're going to have to do with the leading scorer on the season being out.
Yeah, I mean, certain guys are hunting shots more. They're a little quicker to pull the trigger, and I think that's something that helps a guy like Isaac Trout, where there's not as many decisions to be made. Jimmie Neal has been fantastic. He leads the Jays with 10, and he's been aggressive. He's hit some tough shots. That's a guy, apart from the bench, he's another guy that you need to step up a ton.
Yeah, right now Creighton is getting 12 points in the paint. That's something we talked about wanting to see from them. They're also getting 16 points off the bench right now, specifically coming from Isaac Trout. The one thing I want to see from Isaac Trout is being able to stack games. Maybe not even games, stack halves. You can't start 3 for 3 in this game and then completely fall off the stat sheet for the rest of this game. He's 0 for 2 in his last 2 3-point attempts. I want to see him hit at a higher rate, continue to stack games, stack quarters, and be productive. And the other thing, I want to see Jason Green get back to last season's form. Right now, he's 2 of 2 from the field. He's got 5 points. We've seen him kind of take a giant step forward last year. There seems to be a little regression at this point in the season. I want to see him get back into that rhythm that we've seen him in a year ago. And the other thing about Pop Isaacs being out in the flow of the offense, a lot of times when you bring in a guy like a Pop Isaacs, there's a little bit of a push to get him the ball. When he's that dynamic of the score, your coaches in guys' ears. We got to get this guy involved. We got to get that guy involved. When that conversation stops and guys can go out there and just kind of play free form and not worry about distributing with intention to getting to one guy, I think that helps the offense flow a little better also.
Yeah, for sure. Another guy I want to see get more minutes this half, he had 7 in the first half, is a guy like Ty Davis. I want to see what he can do in terms of providing a spark or what kind of offense he can provide. That is my one knock on Ty Davis so far this season, is on the offensive end, he's just kind of been there. And you also lose Jackson McAndrew early in that first half with what looked like an apparent ankle injury. He is out there warming up here to start the second half, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, but he's still running kind of gingerly on that ankle, so we'll see if he's not clearly good to go, because they wouldn't have him out there running right now if he wasn't. But Ryan Kalkbrenner also just emerged from the locker room. He's the last one out and is out there stretching a little bit. He's dealing with a lower body injury and has showed a little bit of laboring signs throughout this whole first half. He only played 14 minutes in this half, and that's still quite a bit. But for a guy that's used to playing 28, 38, 40 minutes a game. That's still a big step back for him, and I think that's great for a guy like Fred King too. Get him some more minutes. He's got 6 minutes. He only had 6 minutes in the entire game. The last game the second last game in Vegas against Texas A&M. Obviously started the Notre Dame game. I'd like to see him get somewhere around 14, 16 minutes, something like that, to finish this game out.
Yeah, no, and we've talked about it. We talked about it with Steven earlier this week before the Kansas game. Fred King, while not Ryan Kalkbrenner, he does bring something a little bit different. I would like to see Fred play more in this game. I don't know if this is the game where he's a solid matchup, which is kind of why you saw Jason get some minutes there at the 5. But I would definitely like to see some more Fred King and see if he can continue to build off of what he did, both against Kansas but also against Notre Dame.
Yeah, and he's a guy that if you're not going to hit the transfer portal hard for a big this season, which I think Creighton will, but if you want to find out what you have after Ryan Kalkbrenner's gone this season, you have to allow Fred King to show you what he can do. Now, you've given him a little bit of rope over the last couple of seasons. He's made you pay for that a little bit, but if you're going to continue to develop him, you're going to ask him to be here and be a part of this team. Yes, you have the 3-time defending Big East Defensive Player of the Year, but you've got to allow him to find his own and find his rhythm, not only defensively but offensively as well.
Well, you went and got him back from the portal. You went and pulled him back. So for me, it's show the intention of why, right? And Steven said it. Obviously, he's not Ryan Kalkbrenner, and I love Ryan Kalkbrenner. But defensively, I like what Fred King allows you to do in ball screen coverage a little bit more. And it's not that Ryan Kalkbrenner can't. It's that you don't want Ryan Kalkbrenner to do it.
Right. Fred's just more physical because he has the ability to, because if he does pick up a foul, it's not as casual. It's not as critical to the way this team wants to operate.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Fred continues to improve, it allows you to throw him out there as a changeup more often. Yeah. And so this is a huge game where I would take that risk right now.
Because honestly, there were a couple times last season where he completely looked like a total liability while he was out there. That's not me being mean or me being critical. It was pretty apparent that was the case. This season, we have not seen that. He has not looked completely lost on the court. He's looked like a physical, dominant presence that's been out there and been able to hold his own in certain crunch time situations. Yes, he's played sparingly, but I want to see what it looks like in a bigger sample size. And I wonder if part of him getting lower minutes this season is because they want to kind of hide him a little bit and not put bad stuff on film. And that might have been part of the reason we've seen him into the transfer portal. I wonder if you give him a little bit more confidence and give him a reason to be confident. That doesn't go a long, long way.
Yeah, well, on top of that, Jimmie, I mean, this game where UNLV has been super aggressive and super physical, let Fred go throw some back.
Sure.
Like, nothing against Fred. Fred is not going to make or break this game for you if he fouls out. And he's not going to foul out in limited minutes. But let him go set a tone early in the first half, because UNLV was knocking guys over the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, Stephen Ashworth got ran into at least 4 times. Only once did the whistle get blown. But the other thing, like, when you see what Nebraska put on film and how physical they were able to be with the Jays, I wonder how much you're able to take a look at that and say, okay, how do we counteract with that? And if somebody punches you in the face and you punch them back, they're a little hesitant to throw that second jab.
Yeah, 100%. I'd like to see Fred King, and I think that's why you saw some Jason Green too. Jason Green
more physical guy.
He looks like he has a different edge than he had the first 7 games of the season. The last couple of times we've seen him on the floor.
It's the role Jays. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So either one of those guys, I'd like to see him get out there and throw their body around.
It's the Roll Jays podcast live above the chai. Creighton leads 39-27 over UNLV here in Omaha. Just a reminder, you can donate to Creighton's NIL Collective, the Bird Club. Scan the QR code in your top right corner right now. All donations go to your favorite student athletes. Also helps benefit this podcast as well. Keys to the second half for Creighton.
Maintain the level of physicality. Continue to shoot the ball well. Isaac Trout is going to be fronted, so you got to find a way to get him open.
The 5 on the floor to start the second half of the Jays: Kalkbrenner, Neal, Trout,
and Jason Green.
And Ashworth to finish out the starting 5. That'll be your starting 5 to start the second half. Alex Nyberg back on 1620 The Zone immediately following the game. Taking your phone calls 402-951-1620. This has been the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. We'll see you after the game.